Okay, the next project I'm working on is a mantle. So this piece of wood here is maple. It's 1x5 by 4 foot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the center of the board. As you can see, my table saw blade is tilted to the left, 45 degrees. And what will wind up happening, I'll get two pieces of wood with the cut seeming to be going in the opposite direction, but when I put it together, it'll be a cleat that comes down in the back of the wall to hold the mantle up. So yes, this is maple. The whole mantle I'm making is going to be maple, and it's going to be heavy and it's going to be big. So I wanted to have something I knew would hold up to it. So it's just a matter of getting the board right here, getting my table saw blade tilted 45 degrees, and once I rip it, other than just the thick of the kerf of the blade, I'll have two pieces that will join up together and hold it in place when it's mounted on the wall. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, this is the top of the maple mantle I'm making. I've already done all the bevel cuts on it. You see my miter saw set at 45, cut all the angles. So this is the top of the mantle. Over here, we have the front of the mantle. And then back here, I have the cleats that are going to support this. Everything I'm doing is made out of maple. This is a pretty good size mantle, so I wanted to make sure everything was strong, sturdy. I'll put some blocking in the middle of it to help hold and distribute some of the weight in case it gets loaded up too much. So the next thing now is to start to assemble it, get it going, put the sides on, put the bottom, and it'll be ready to go. So that's what I'm working on right now. Boom. Well, the first thing I want to do is just show, excuse me, that's a lot of stuff in here. And so I'm working on my next project, which is to make a mantle. And unfortunately, every little area is covered, so I had to put a couple of rolling cabinets together to have a semi-workbench. So this is the mantle that's starting here. You can get a look at it. Okay, it's got a cleat. Yeah, the cleat's this part right down here. That's the cleat. This will be the top of the mantle over here. Okay, so I have some sanding to do and some cleaning up on that, and that's just the first part of it. And then what I'll be doing is I'm making the sides and the bottom and so on. But that's what I'm starting at. A lot of work. I don't take credit for this build. I got it made. I like the way he did his, and so what I did is just copy it basically. So it's not my idea, but it works great. I've already built one before this one. And so this is all maple. That's the wood I'm using, heavy, so I've got to put a lot of extra strength in it. As you can see here, I've had to drill out, countersink a screw, and then put a plug in it. Excuse me. And so that's what I'm doing. And as I get each step, I'll add another video to it so you can see over here is the other part of the cleat. And that's what will attach to the wall that the mantle will hang from. And then this piece here is also maple. And you can see the lines in it. So it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to look pretty good, hopefully, when I get done, if I can do a good job. Anyway, so that's where I'm at on this build. Okay, this is the next setup I'm going to be doing. This is the maple that I'm using for the mantle. Okay, so here's the wood here. As you can see down here is my... Alrighty, this is the maple board I'm going to cut for the bottom of the mantle I'm making. So this here is the maple. As I go down here, you can see my feather board. I've already tilted my blade 45 degrees. So it's just a matter of putting the board up against the fence, pushing in my feather board, and then ripping this bad boy down with a single bevel. I only need to bevel one side of it, so the rest will go against the wall. And so I'm going to do that. Okay, if you look at this, this is a piece of maple. You can see it's a beveled cut. It's at an angle, 45 degrees. You can see a lot of discoloration. That's burning. Several things can cause that. It could be a blade that's dull. It could be the wrong blade for what you're trying to cut. Like I said, this is maple. It's very hard. It could be just getting plugged up. Okay, so if you look at these, you can see the burning of it. Okay, so the best way to do that is to either get the right blade, because these were ripped, and so it's a rip blade that I've used, but it was getting dull and started burning. So I put on a new rip blade. And if you look at it now, you can see no burning compared to burning. And so what we really want is it to not burn at all and give a nice smooth surface. Again, this is on a 45. It's going to be from a mantle I'm building. So if you happen to see those burn marks, you might want to change the blade, sharpen the blade, or get a ripping blade that's anywhere from 12 to 24 tooth. I use a 24 tooth Freud, and it works pretty good. So I eliminated that with the new blade, and it looks great. So if you look at it now, you can see no burning compared to burning. And so what we really want is it to not burn at all and give a nice smooth surface. Again, this is on a 45. It's going to be from a mantle I'm building. So if you happen to see those burn marks, you might want to change the blade, sharpen the blade, or get a ripping blade that's anywhere from 12 to 24 tooth. I use a 24 tooth Freud, and it works pretty good. So I eliminated that with the new blade, and it looks great.